Welcome back to our mini-series on network attack indicators. In part 1, we talked about high bandwidth consumption and traffic spikes, the big explosions on the map that are hard to miss. Today in part 2, we're going to focus on patterns in communication that indicate an active infiltration of your network, beaconing and irregular peer-to-peer traffic. Think of these as the covert signals and hidden alliances that operate in the shadows of your network battlefield. Just like in a strategy game, spotting these subtle moves early can mean the difference between holding the line or losing control of the map. Let's talk beaconing, one of the earliest signs that your network might be under siege. When a system gets compromised, it often turns into a zombie. Not the groaning, brain-hungry kind, but one that quietly reaches out to its command and control server, usually shortened to C2, at regular intervals. Think of it like an NPC in a game that walks the same path every 10 seconds. Predictable, repetitive, and if you're watching closely, noticeable. Unlike that NPC stuck in a loop, you can break the cycle by smashing the like button on my videos, no game genie required. So what should you look for? Beaconing usually shows up as repeated communication to the same IP or domain over time. Here's how to spot it. Centralize your logs with a SIEM solution. This lets you query connection patterns and enrich them with threat intelligence, like IP and domain-based reputation. Analyze NetFlow data for timing, frequency, and packet size consistency. Beaconing often leaves behind rhythmic footprints. Use IDS or IPS tools to detect known C2 signatures or behavioral anomalies tied to beaconing. But attackers aren't standing still. They know defenders look for patterns, so they'll throw curveballs like fast flux DNS to rotate IPs rapidly, domain generation algorithms, or DGAs for short, to spawn fresh domains, and using jitter to randomize beacon intervals, thus breaking detection models. Common beaconing channels include IRC, old school but still seen in legacy malware, HTTP or HTTPS, hiding in plain sight like a lizard person. Yeah, I said it. DNS queries, stealthy periodic check-ins, and even using the messaging features on social media platforms. Yes, attackers get creative. Here's the bottom line. Beaconing is like a background script running in your network. Track the timing and you'll block the threat before it starts its combo strike. Now that we understand beaconing and how IDS tools can help detect it, let's take it one step further by breaking down a Snort 2.9 signature. Just like we did with NetFlow in the previous video, we'll break this down into bite-sized components. And if you missed that NetFlow analysis, check out part 1 of this series on bandwidth consumption and traffic spikes. Snort rules, sometimes also called signatures, have two main parts, a header and rule options. The header includes action, tells Snort what to do, alert or drop. Protocol, the type of traffic, like TCP or UDP. Source IP and port, direction of traffic flow, destination, IP, and port. As an aside, Snort uses common variables like HomeNet, which is the network you want Snort to protect, and external net, which is everything else. Moving over to the second component of a Snort rule, rule options. Common rule options include message, a brief description of the rule, detection, the core of the rule, defining what traffic pattern to look for, reference, often a CVE, so you can map signatures back to known vulnerabilities. Class type categorizes the type of attack. And finally, signature ID, or SID, and revision number, or REV, these provide unique identifiers for version control. I'll link a Snort rule infographic in the description if you'd like a deeper dive into all the rule components. Now that we've covered some of the Snort rule syntax, let's walk through a sample rule for beaconing activity and break it down together. Alright, so on the left, we've got a Snort rule designed to detect outbound beaconing activity, specifically tied to the MRAP Trojan. And on the right, we've got our trusty table acting as a decoder ring for Snort's rule syntax. Let's break it down and fill in the table as we go. First up, the rule's configured action is alert. That means Snort will generate a notification or log entry whenever this pattern is detected. The rule applies to TCP traffic originating from our protected network, represented by the variable HomeNet. The directionality is outbound, also known as ingress to egress. Every source needs a destination. This rule flags traffic heading out to external net, which usually means anything beyond our protected home net. And we're specifically targeting outbound web traffic. Think HTTP requests heading to external servers. Now we're moving into the Rule Options section, starting with the Message field. As mentioned earlier, this signature is designed to detect outbound beaconing activity associated with the MARUP Trojan. Next up, the Detection component. This is where Snort defines its pattern matching logic. In this case, we're looking for specific strings, one in the URI and another in the client body of the HTTP request. The reference field links to a VirusTotal report, providing additional context and threat intelligence. Snort classifies this signature under Trojan activity, helping analysts prioritize and categorize alerts. And finally, we've got the SID, the signature's unique identifier, and the revision number, which tracks updates to the rule over time. And there you have it. We've officially dissected the anatomy of a Snort rule piece by piece. Drop a comment and let me know if this breakdown helped clarify things. When most people hear peer-to-peer, they think torrents or file sharing. But in this context, it refers to unusual host-to-host traffic, especially between internal systems that normally don't communicate. For example, if your HR server suddenly starts accepting inbound connections on an unusual high-numbered port, say something like 1337, that's a red flag. Attackers often use obscure or non-standard ports to bypass firewall rules, stage stolen data, or maintain remote access for lateral movement. If that port isn't part of your documented services or change control, it could indicate a compromised host acting as a command and control zombie. Here are some warning signs. Traffic anomalies, unexpected communication between internal hosts, unfamiliar protocols, or sudden spikes in bandwidth usage. Timing anomalies, remote access attempts during off hours, especially late night connections that don't match normal usage patterns. Behavioral anomalies, indicators like port scanning, brute force login attempts, or lateral movement across systems. Network logs can show you where traffic is going, but EDR tools reveal why. They monitor process execution, file modifications, and system-level behavior, helping you correlate suspicious activity across layers. That deeper visibility is key to spotting stealthy attacks that traditional network monitoring might miss. Beaconing and peer-to-peer traffic are like telegraphed combos in a fighting game. Once you recognize the pattern, you can punish it with the perfect counter. More CySA Plus exam prep and cybersecurity content is on the way, so hit subscribe and I'll see you in the next level.